We have a shop in the UK, you knew that already. We have a shop in London, in case you didn't recognise from my accent. We've got a team roll of about 45, so 45 team members. We're on a site of about 21,000 square feet. We do about 2,500 hours. We talk about hours and not units a month, and we turn over about £3 million. That's pound sterling, not pound dollars, whatever funny money you've got in Australia. But genuinely, guys, delighted to be here. Hope you're having a great conference so far.
Chris, we understand that the two accredited trade associations in the UK, NAB and VBRA, are merging. Is this a step to unify the industry, and what do you hope it will achieve?
Sorry guys, I should have also explained in that short bio opportunity, I'm also chair of the National Association of Bodyshops. So in the UK, for those of you who don't know, and I guess that will be nearly all of you, we have two very well respected, very old trade associations. We have the National Association of Bodyshops, which I've just said to you I'm the chair of. I've been the chair of that for just over 2.5 years. And we have the Vehicle Body Repairers Association. If you've not nodded off and you're still with me, that's National Association of Bodyshops, NAB and the VBRA, Vehicle Body Repairers Association. We've been talking for a couple of years now, and just this year, just in July, so hot off the press, we've agreed, signed contracts, we're going to unify. It's going to be a fantastic opportunity for everyone in the UK, and I think wider as well. The opportunities to go wider, to talk to colleagues like yourself outside of the UK is going to be absolutely brilliant. The potential is enormous, phenomenal. We've got a left hand and a right hand in the UK. You know, sometimes, being honest, it feels like neither the left hand or the right hand could find their backside with either hand. But look, notwithstanding that, we're on the road to unification, and I think it will be transformational for the UK. God blimey, how long have you got? When Sam first spoke to me, I said to her, how long have we got? She said, well, Chris, you've got about 10 minutes to witter on. Witter on, that's lovely, lovely that is. But I'm going to get my own back anyway, because I'm going to witter on forever, and I'm not going to allow her to edit any of it. What was the question again? So numbers, I'm being serious now for a second, guy. Numbers, there's lots of numbers bandied around in the UK and elsewhere. I'm not sure how many of them are absolutely bang on and accurate. There is one number, and I'll come to that in a second. To give you a sense of context, when Sam was in the UK, I think that's probably when Moses was a boy, when Sam was in the UK, she used to edit a very august product called Parts Plus. That was about 2.5 decades ago. By anyone's measure then, and there were a number of measures, believe me, by anyone's measure then, there were about 8, 9, maybe even 10,000 repairers in the UK. That was a settled figure that everyone was reasonably comfortable with. So that was a generation a bit ago. You're probably all looking around now at Sam and thinking, yeah, she's born well. So we had about 10,000 repairers. Today, the number that I can tell you with some accuracy, absolute pinpoint accuracy, because in the UK we have a registered licence scheme authorised by BSI, the British Standards Institute. We have approximately 950 to 1,000 registered repairers. Let me just say that number again, 950 to 1,000. Those are actually registered, written down, licensed repairers. Go back a generation and a bit. Today, by anyone's measure, that is a massive gap. You know, there's a lot of myths, and there's a lot of rumour, there's a lot of noise, a lot of speculation. I can only really tell you how it is. I think some people where you are saying, look, the tide's turned in the UK. There's more vehicles to repair than there is repairers. You know, I'm not sure about that. I'm really not. I'm a real believer in the free market. Although having said that, I'm slightly left of Karl Marx. We'll move on from that. There's a real free market in the UK, and I think it's buoyant. I know it's buoyant. You'll always have people coming in at the bottom and going out at the top. But what we are seeing, especially in London, did I tell you we were from London? especially in London, you can really see now, you can really see a difference. There's a turning of the tide. There are some clients who are finding it not just difficult, but almost impossible to get their vehicles repaired. Now, there are people in London and the UK, and I'm sure there are people in Oz who will repair cars anyways, on any terms, for whoever. And how they do that, I don't know, and frankly, I don't want to know. But most professional repairers now are saying, look, some of you guys, you've got to have a rethink about what you want to do with your terms and conditions. That is definitely happening. I can only speak from how we're doing it in our body shop. The clients that we work with, the clients that we've chosen to work with over the years, they're good, they're spot on. And you do choose to work with your clients, let's be honest. There are some that you choose not to work with. That's the reality of a free market. There are some clients that I'm really happy that my competition works with.
In Australia, many repairers are looking to volume to ensure profitability as profit margins fall. What has been the strategy of successful and profitable body shops in the UK?
Oh, volume, guys. Oh, the dreaded V word. Volume, volume, volume. Let's all chase the volume. The best piece of advice I can give you is don't chase volume. It's absolutely not the way. You have to define the parameters of volume. You know, one person's volume is another person's small shop. One person's small shop is another person's big shop. So you've got to define what we're talking about in terms of volume. We're a medium to bigger size player at £3 million turnover. So we're at the upper end of the scale in the UK. Most repairers are around the £1.5 million mark. So when you talk about volume in the UK, you're talking about 6, 7, 8, 10 million pound repairers. The lesson that we've learned in the UK, and it's been a hard lesson, and it's took us all a long while, is not to chase volume. It's absolutely not about volume. Volume's a quick way to lose quite a lot of money really, really quickly. Someone once said to me, what's the quickest way to a small fortune? I said, take a lot of money and buy a body shop. You might have to think about that one for a little while. It's a bit of a London joke. Strategy. Yes, that's it. I knew there was another bit. 3 things, guys. I'm not here to tell you how to run your body shops. You know that far better than I could ever attempt to try and help you or tell you. I am being serious again. 3 words: people, process, profit. Get the first 2 right and the last one will fall. It's about the process. You can see in part on the walls behind us what we call process maps. We do these religiously and regularly. All the time we're updating them. What we're looking for is gaps in the process and gaps in downtime. It's no good, certainly not in the UK, with the maturity of the UK market, trying to get guys to just work harder, sweat them longer, and frankly work their cobblers off, because that's just not going to work. It's not going to deliver you anything. Let me give you a quick example, and I'll try not to witter. A quick example: in the UK, the gold standard for hours worked per day on a vehicle is about 5 to 6. Bear in mind what I said, guys, that's the gold standard. There are lots of repairers in the UK at 2 to 3. There are some sub 2. So cars in the workshop for 8 hours, it's being worked on for less than 2 hours. If you do anything, go away from here today, take 10, 15, 20, 25, 50 jobs out of your process, do a process map and look at the downtime. Look at the time the vehicles are not being worked on. Eliminate that and you get the flow. You start to get the process working. People, process, profit. Do not chase volume. Listen, guys, you're going on a journey. You're embarking on a journey now that many other people, not just in the UK, throughout Europe, in the States, have trodden already. I would say reach out, because the learning that many of us have had on that journey, you can take a great deal from it. That's really important. I think I would really urge you to reach out. I think if people often say what happens in the UK happens in Oz, well, Sam's living proof. I'll leave you to make your own minds up whether that was a good or a bad thing. I would say, people would say it was a 10-year span. I don't think that's true. I'm not sure it was ever true. People now say it's a 5-year span. People are now saying it's a 3-year span. Whatever happens in the UK comes to Oz in 3 years' time. I think it's probably quicker than that now, guys. I think you've really got to learn. But I think it's much easier. Social media, enablers like this, the ability to pick the phone up and reach out to other trade associations, not just in the UK, but almost across the globe. I would say do that. Reach out. Use those trade associations. Reach out as individuals and take the learning from that we've all picked up. There's a few other specific points. I think you've got a product coming out to you called Audatex something or other. I'm teasing you. We've got our own specific names for it in the UK. Not all of them are good. None of them are repeatable on camera, I have to say. The two things I would say from the Audatex experience, very, very quickly, guys, we set up 2 groups in partnership with Audatex. The first one must be a technical committee, a technical user group. There's lots of stuff in Audatex which isn't quite right. Okay, there's lots of good stuff and it's a great platform. There's no question about that. But there are some anomalies, I think probably is the best way to describe them. If you've got a technical user group of technical users, when those anomalies come up, they don't get swept under the carpet. They don't get buried. Not that they did that in the UK. Perish the thought. I'm not saying that. 100% not saying that. But you've got a technical user group that can hit those issues very quickly, head on, iron them out, move on. Otherwise, you end up arguing about half an hour here and half an hour there. Really, guys, it's really not worth your time. The second thing with the Audatex product is set up a general user group. Get that user group as wide as you can, but you don't want 100 people in it. You want probably a workshop, seminar type process that meets maybe 3 or 4 times a year to give Audatex good, solid, constructive, professional feedback. It's not a whinging forum, it's not a moaning forum, it's not a dumping forum, it's not a forum for you there to go and kick the living daylights out of them. Absolutely not. But there should be a two-way conduit for you to feed in your points of improvement, to make the product better, to make it slicker, to make it more productive for everybody, for the whole community. That's a hard lesson we learned in the UK. It took us about 10 or 12 years to learn that, but once we did get on that train, it moved really quickly and we got a tremendous amount of improvement from it. I would say stay independent. You can see some of the logos and the branding, very subtle. Around our business, we're part of a Fix Auto franchise. Sam said to me, but I'll teach her to say I whitter on. Sam said to me, don't go shamelessly plugging your commercial interests. I wouldn't dream of doing that, Sam. Ha ha ha. I would say stay independent, guys. We're a franchise. I'm not saying that's the way for you, but we're a franchise. We're a franchise of independent body shops. Okay, we're not a single independent group. We're a franchise of independent body shops. That means we've got this skin in the game. When you've got a manager of a big organisation and regional managers and sub-regional managers and area managers, you start to lose that and you start to dilute it. And for maybe suppliers in the audience and for, dare I say, insurers and accident managers that might be attending your conference, you really do need that. You need people who are committed and have got skin in the game. Stay as much as you're able, guys, to be independent. Not out on a limb, not on your own, not isolated. There are lots of ways you can get together, but as much as you can, stay independent and do what you came into business to do. Provide a quality service at a great price with all that enthusiasm and entrepreneurial spirit that, dare I say, built Australia from the ships that we all gave you. Hey, that's where we started, and that's probably the best place we could end. Thanks for inviting me, guys. Hope to see you all soon.